Hello fellow makeup lovers, if you are into super sparkly and duochrome eyeshadows like I am, then this video is for you because we are going to be swatching and playing with everything that I own from JD Glow Cosmetics. We have all sorts of sparkly goodness here, so let's go ahead and jump right on in. So I have been wanting to show off my JD Glow Cosmetics Galaxy shadows for such a long time. I've had these accumulating in my collection for a few months now, and these are some of the prettiest freaking eyeshadows you will ever see. Like, I'm honestly stunned that these are only $7 a pop. They're on par with Pat McGrath, so the fact that these are only $7 is honestly a steal. And honestly, I want to get my hands on all of them someday, but slowly I am accumulating a collection of them here, so I figured I would go ahead and show you guys up close and personal and show you swatches and the best application for these, because I know sometimes working with sparkly eyeshadows can be a little bit intimidating. So I figured I would go ahead and just have a little swatch party with you here and show you what these guys are all about. Now, this beautiful duochrome goodness you're seeing here is Peachy Keen, and this is a beautiful peach-based eyeshadow. This one does not have any glitter in it, it's strictly a metallic, but this shade has the most gorgeous lime green shift to it. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna swatch it out on my arm, and then I'm gonna be applying a brush swatch over glitter glue as well, just so you guys can see how everything applied. This is what she looks like, just swatched out with my finger here. As you can see, you can really see that green duochrome flip. And let's go ahead and pick some up on my Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush here, and I'm just gonna swatch this guy next to the finger swatch, and then we can compare and you can see how application would be on the eyes if you were to use your finger versus using a brush. Now, because this guy doesn't have any sparkle in it, it's pretty user-friendly. This basically just acts like any old metallic. You honestly don't really need a glitter glue with this guy. You can just use eyeshadow primer and I think it would be okay because there's no glitter in here for the glitter glue to really hold on to. As you can see, the finger swatch is a little bit more intense, but of course we can build this up. So let's go ahead and go in with the second layer here. So one more layer of this fella. As you can see, this eyeshadow is just absolutely insane. They were basically geniuses when they thought of putting together peach and green in duochrome eyeshadow. I absolutely love it. They did the color peach so much justice. So the next shade that we have in the Galaxy shadows here is called Berry Acid, and this is like a gunmetal grayish green that has a golden flip to it. As you can see here, it kind of looks gray, but it does have like a mossy green undertone, and it has these beautiful golden sparkles throughout it. This guy is basically mesmerizing to look at. But let me go ahead and do a finger swatch here. And you can see that pigmentation. These are so pigmented and so sparkly. As you can see, we do have a lot of sparkle in here, so this is an eyeshadow that I personally think would be best used with a glitter glue. So let's go ahead and test that out. So as you can see here, I have a little bit of glitter glue on my hand, and I'm just going to be placing this down. This is just the NYX glitter glue. I use this guy with literally everything and it works perfectly. And now let's pop Berry Acid right over top, and you'll see a difference in the actual pigmentation. The golden sparkle is just intensified with that glitter glue. I mean, look at how beautiful that eyeshadow is. Absolutely insane. But you definitely need a glitter glue with this guy just because you do have that golden sparkle in there. You're probably going to get a little bit of fallout with using any of the Galaxy shadows that have the glitter, but they are so freaking beautiful that it is absolutely worth the fallout. These stay put pretty well if you do use the glitter glue. If you don't, then they're probably going to flake all over your face during the day, but as long as you have glitter glue on hand, these guys are just so freaking gorgeous. So this is the shade Sin, which is another absolutely stunning shadow. This color is just to die for. It's the most beautiful, like warm lavender that has a bit of a bluish green kind of shift to it. And Sin also has some gold glitter kind of running throughout it as well. So let's go ahead and swatch her out here. So here is what she looks like finger swatched, and you can really see that beautiful goldeny greeny shift. It has a little bit of like a teal kind of sparkle running throughout it. And picking some of this guy up with my Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush, and these pick up pretty nicely with a brush, but I feel like they just apply better when you actually use your finger. But you can definitely use a brush. It's not impossible like some glittery eyeshadows can be. These are actually pretty easy to work with for the most part. But I placed a layer of glitter glue down right next to the finger swatch, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this guy right over. This one is a little bit more sheer than the rest of them just because, I think it's because of the actual base undertone, because it is that really light lavender shade. As you can tell, the finger swatch is more intense, and I do find that to be true with most of the Galaxy shadows, but once you pop Sin over a glitter glue, obviously we're still getting a lot of pigmentation going on here. And my glitter glue legitimately just exploded out of this side. I'm not really sure how that happened. It exploded right out of here, and I'm not really sure what's going on here, so I think it's about time I get a new one. Okay, so now we've come to my absolute favorite shade out of the entire collection. If I could only pick one pink sparkly eyeshadow to wear for the rest of my life, it would be this guy, and this is AKA. This is the most beautiful, cool toned magenta pink that has green and gold glitter running throughout it. I mean, this is just the prettiest thing I think I've ever seen. Like, look at that shift, look at that sheen. I don't think I've ever seen something more sparkly and more beautiful. Like, I think this tops Pat McGrath's eyeshadows right here. This specific eyeshadow, AKA, just has so much glitter packed throughout it. To me, in my experience with these shadows, I think that this one honestly has more glitter just because it has so much more of a bright shine to it, and it's just so multi-dimensional. It's flippin' insane. But let's go ahead and swatch it here and you'll see what I'm talking about, and I literally barely have to pick any of this guy up to get pigmentation, but you'll see what I'm talking about here. So here is one finger swatch of AKA. Like, look at that. I don't think I need to say anymore. It's more of a cool toned pink, but you really see that beautiful golden shift. And because it's a cool toned pink, I feel like the glitter just stands out so much more. And picking up a little bit of this guy just to swatch over top of the glitter glue. And let's pop it right over, just to see if that intensifies it. As you can see, we really just get more of that goldeny sheen and a bit more intensity when we apply it over the glitter glue with the brush. And this guy is even more intense when you just use your fingertips over glitter glue. AKA gets really, really bright and really intense, which I personally love. I mean, we all know that I love pink eyeshadow. And could JD Glow have created an even better pink eyeshadow? Because I don't think so. I feel like this is what Barbie would wear, like Malibu Barbie. She would wear this 24/7 if she ever wore eyeshadow. But this is the most gorgeous Barbie pink, and I just absolutely love it. I'm kind of at a loss for words for how beautiful this is. The next Galaxy shadow that I have to show off here is the most recent one to my collection, and this is the shade Plum. As you can see, I have not used it much at all. I've used it one time on my eyes, so there's not much pan gone here. But I'm gonna get a whole lot of use out of this because I have been just obsessed with purples lately, and this is the most beautiful, kind of cool toned blue based purple, but it has a warm golden shift to it. Plum definitely looks cool toned from certain angles, but then when you turn your eyes and you just turn the pan itself, you can really see that beautiful warm purpley golden shift. So let's go ahead and swatch Plum here and see what this is all about. I literally have the biggest Charlie horse in my foot right now. My foot is completely asleep, and there she is. Honestly, this looks like it matches my background perfectly, but if you are into purple eyeshadow and you are okay with your eyeshadows having sparkle, in fact, if you're like me and you enjoy your eyeshadows having glitter and sparkle in them, pick up Plum because you will not be disappointed. I have a bunch of purple metallic eyeshadows and nothing compares to the shine and the sparkle and that beautiful warm-toned golden shift that you get with this eyeshadow. There is nothing like this on the market, at least that I've come across. It is absolutely beautiful, and every purple lover should have this guy in their collection, in my humble opinion, of course. And let's go ahead and pop this guy over top of glitter glue so we can see how this brush swatches and how it would perform on the eyes. Okay, well, I did not pick up enough product here. Okay, so I'm actually gonna put my brush in it this time and not just barely tap in, but this is what she would look like over glitter glue. So here is the glitter glue side that we just popped over, and as you can see, it has about the same pigmentation, so I feel like you could definitely use this with your finger and get very similar pigmentation to what you would get with using a brush. And if the pink shade AKA from earlier didn't already exist, then I would be saying right now that I saved the best for last, because this is one of the most beautiful eyeshadows I've ever seen in my entire freaking life. But AKA really takes the cake for me. But nonetheless, this is Good God. And if you could grind up a unicorn and pop it into an eyeshadow, this would be the end result. I'm sure Jared from Too Faced is really upset that he didn't come up with this first, because this is the most unicorn looking eyeshadow that I've ever seen in my entire life. This is the most multi-dimensional eyeshadow I think I have in my entire collection. Besides AKA and a few Pat McGrath shades, this guy is right up there. I'm gonna turn the pan around here so hopefully you guys can see what we have going on. This is the most beautiful, cool toned, silvery lavender shade, and it has a gorgeous blue and silver flip. Oh my god, it's so freaking gorgeous. It has beautiful teal and blue toned glitters running throughout it. I'm like mesmerized looking at this. I could literally just sit here and like stare at this pan. I know I shouldn't, but I could definitely do that. This eyeshadow is absolute perfection, but let me show you what this looks like swatched out. This is like one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. And here she is swatched out. I mean, need I say more? Honestly, I said that Plum looked like it would match my background perfectly, but this is literally like the exact same as my background that I have going on here. The most beautiful, cool toned purpley lavender shade that has a teal and green and a little bit of silver kind of running throughout it. It blends in perfectly. But picking Good God up, let's go ahead and lay her right over top of some glitter glue here and see how she performs. And I do feel like glitter glue intensifies the shadow just a little bit. I feel like you get a little bit more of that teal blue kind of shine going on when you put it over top of glitter glue. Definitely just intensifies the background sparkle that we have running throughout the entire shadow. Look at this. Is this not the most mesmerizing thing you've ever seen? It's so pretty. I can't deal with it. So I have 2 more products to show you from JD Glow Cosmetics here. Unfortunately, I only have 8 products by them, which seems like a lot, but honestly, I want to have every single one of their Galaxy shadows someday, so I'm working on building my little collection here, which I try not to collect makeup, but when it comes to these type of shadows, when it comes to that $7 price point, I'm just a sucker for this, okay? But I currently own one of their highlighters, and this is in the shade Chaos, and this is a multi-chromatic highlighter. This is the most beautiful, kind of pale iridescent champagne to light pink to orange highlight I think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen one before, but this guy is absolutely beautiful, and they have a few different multi-chromatic highlighters to choose from. But I'm just gonna go ahead and finger swatch this guy so you can see what the color of the highlight is. And let's go ahead and place that down. I might need a couple layers because I do find that this guy is just a hair more sheer than a lot of highlights that I have in my collection, but I think it is because it has that iridescent base to it. But the application of this highlight tends to be a bit more sheer, but I'm okay with that because you can definitely build this guy up, and I'll show you that in just a couple minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and brush swatch it and do all of that jazz. Here is the highlight built up, and I'm not sure if the camera is gonna be able to really catch the sheen and the flip that's going on inside this guy, but you can definitely see the purple to champagne light orangey kind of multi-chromatic highlight going on here. You can definitely see that flip in person. It's absolutely insane, and I'll try to include a picture that I saw someone take of this highlight out in regular sunlight. You'll just have to take my word for it because I know the camera isn't gonna pick this up, but in person, this guy is just absolutely phenomenal, and you can really see the 3 colors shining through. Now I want to show you guys a few different applications of this highlight on my arm. I'm going to go ahead and start out by showing you what I would do if I were applying this on me and how I personally wear this. A lot of you guys know this, but some of you may not, but I do not wear foundation, so I always put down kind of like a dewy highlight, if you will. A cream or liquid or, I don't know, balmy highlight. I usually stick to balmy highlights like this, and this is the Dewy Sticks from Ciate London. What is this? What is this called? This is called Glow. I should know these things before I jump on camera. But this guy is called Glow. It is literally a clear balm. If you wear foundation, this will probably take your foundation off, but if you don't wear foundation and you find that your highlight kind of fades throughout the day and is one of the first things to go, like it was for me for so long until I figured this out, then getting a dewy, kind of glowy, balmy, liquidy, cream, however you want to do it, type of highlight to have something for the highlight to stick down to on your cheeks is definitely something you should consider, because it helped me immensely. My highlight lasts all day now, and before it would literally be the first thing to fade off of my cheeks. But I'm gonna pick some of this highlighter up with the Morphe M504, which I think this is an eyeshadow brush, but like, dude, this is big for an eyeshadow brush, and oh god, it's shedding. Classic Morphe. But I used to use this highlighter brush all the time. This was my go-to before I recently discovered a Delium Tools brush that works significantly better, but she's dirty right now, so we're gonna work with this guy, who apparently likes to shed all over me. But let's go ahead and place this over top of the dewy sticks that I put down. And there's just a sheer application. Let me go ahead and build it up here. As you can see, it applies pretty sheerly, and you kind of have to dig your brush into the product. But once you do, this is absolutely beautiful on the cheeks. She is a little bit more sheer, but this is a really nice highlight for giving you that wet effect, and you can really see the duochrome flip when you turn your face or when you're in the sunlight. This would be a beautiful spring and summer highlight, and for me over in the US right now, we are slowly approaching spring, but nonetheless, we are gonna be there someday, so I'm gonna be reaching for this all the time when the weather starts to finally get warm again. And so now I'm gonna be picking up the product with this Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 highlighting brush. I do not like this brush. Look how giant this brush is, and I've explained this before in a few videos, but I have like really strangely shaped features. And obviously, look at me, I'm kind of weird looking, but I don't know, man. This brush is just way too freaking big for my cheeks. I would literally get my highlight like all over and into my eyeshadow and just into everything that I would use this guy. But I'm gonna pick up a decent amount here. As you can see, this is like a baked gelée highlight, so I do have a little bit of hard pan, but it's weird because you definitely get product on the brush. I think it's just the actual formula itself. Honestly, this formula is very similar to the Galaxy shadows, just way more sheer and with a lot less glitter. It's super creamy feeling when you put your finger in it, and it's definitely a baked gelée formula. But this swatch right over here is my finger swatch, and the one right next door is my built-up brush swatch that I did over top of the Ciate London Dewy Stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this guy down. Just no dewy stick, no liquid highlight, no nothing, just bare skin, and we'll see how this applies. Just to show you guys, because I know most people don't use those types of cream highlights to get their highlight to stick down. Most people are able to actually get their highlight to stick down. For some reason, I'm just freaking weird and I can't. But there is just a light application. It's right over here. As you can see, we still have that beautiful pink duochrome shine. It's just a little bit more sheer. So picking up a hair more, let's go ahead and pop this over and layer her up. Like, look how giant that freaking Anastasia Beverly Hills brush is. I regret buying this. This was expensive and I regret it. So here is Chaos with a fluffier highlighting brush that a lot of people use, the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. Here's a finger swatch in the middle, and on the end here we have how I personally apply my highlighter, which is with a smaller, more tapered kind of blending brush, if you will, over top of a cream or a balmy highlight. How I personally recommend using these trichrome multicolored highlighters from JD Glow is to use it the way that I personally do, just because I feel like you just get the best pigmentation that way, and you're just gonna get the longest wear time. If you own one of these guys already, try popping it over top of a liquid highlighter or a balmy highlighter or something of that nature. You'll really see that this guy pops way more once you do that. I also do recommend using a smaller, more tapered, kind of denser highlighter brush to pick this guy up, because you're just gonna get better pigmentation that way, and you're just gonna get a more intense highlight. And the very last product that I own from JD Glow Cosmetics is this beautiful liquid gel liner, which is called Rule Number 1. And yet again, I think we're seeing a theme of eyeshadows that all match my background here, but like, look at that. Okay, it's blurry, but this guy blends right in. This is a beautiful pale lavender purple that has a teal and blue flip. Honestly, this reminds me of Good God so much. This is basically just Good God, the eyeshadow, just ground up and popped into a little bottle here. This is the most beautiful duochrome liquid liner I think I've ever seen. I mean, I don't really think I've seen duochrome liquid liners very often, but she's absolutely stunning. I'll go ahead and swatch it out here. And what I like using this for is to basically outline my cut crease. I do that with almost all of my eye looks. And this is a little bit more sheer, so you definitely need to apply a few layers, but once you do, this is such a beautiful color. You can really see that gorgeous duochrome flip. And I just love shades like this. I think it's so beautiful. These work really nicely with, you know, matte plums, matte purples, matte pinks, matte blues. How many times can I freaking say matte here? But these are so stunning, and I want to get more because this is the only one that I have. And although this is definitely a me shade, there are a lot more shades that pique my interest. But those are all of my JD Glow Cosmetics products that I own in my entire collection. My collection of JD Glow Cosmetics is kind of small, and I definitely want to expand on it, but I love every single item that I have from them. Every item I've gotten has just been perfection. I haven't gotten a dud yet, and they're really killing it, especially with the Galaxy Shadow formula. That is my favorite thing that I've tried from them. These are just so freaking fantastic. If you haven't tried one of these and you like sparkly, glittery goodness on your eyeballs, pick one of these up. You will not be disappointed. But with that being said, that is going to be wrapping up this video. I do hope that you consider subscribing if you have not already, and if you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, give me a big old thumbs up and let me know, have you tried these before? Because I know some of you out there have definitely tried these. And I've talked to some of you in the comment section before, and we've talked about the JD Glow Cosmetics Galaxy Shadows. It seems like everyone's pretty unanimous on these. These are really well liked, and for a good reason, because they are beautiful. But I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you next time. Bye!